Hey everybody, welcome back to Portugal and Beyond. I'm Jorik. I hope you're having a fantastic day. This video is going to be a travel video, not a news update, but actually for those of you looking to come to Europe, wanting to get a different experience. Maybe you've had some hassle or issues with planes as of recent times. Another way to get around Europe is by using trains, but more so high-speed trains. Time is of the essence, and you usually don't have unlimited vacation that you can take. You want to get to certain destinations, and if you can avoid some of the hassles that are happening at airports, and if you can get there in relatively the same amount of time without having to go through a security line and baggage checks and things like that, to a great degree, high-speed rail is the way to go. They're comparably priced. In fact, in many times it's lower price. If you're going from one country to another with a high speed, it may be the same price as a flight. But oftentimes we found it to actually be cheaper from a couple standpoints. Either the actual base price, the price for the ticket and to use the high speed rail, as well as the time saved. So that's important because there's a money component to the time. But I want to go through and just give you all a few options for high-speed rail, kind of the most popular, the main ones in Europe, that you can look at and utilize on your next trip. I'm going to put the links to the websites for these trains in the description box. So if you look in the description box, you'll be able to find these, check time, schedule, make bookings, see what the fares are, and compare those to airlines, regular trains, and make your decision. So as always, thank you so much for checking out the channel. Please subscribe. Please click notifications if you want more information about travel news, and Portugal. As I get it, I try to give it to you. So let's get after it. Let's look at some high-speed rail options. So let's start in France. France's high-speed train network is called TGV, and it's well known because it's highly efficient. So this is one that if you're in France, many people, a top destination is Paris or different parts of France. You have things like 24-hour Le Mans, you have Tour de France, you have the French Open, you have a number of, I'll say, sport-related events, as well as festivals, Bastille Day, things like that, D-Day celebrations in Normandy that bring people to France. So using the TGV system might be a better way for you to get around the country as well as into other countries, because they travel not just within France, but several other countries. The next one I want to hit is in the UK. It's the high-speed one, or known as the HS1. It's the only high-speed rail right now that goes through the channel, as they call it, between the UK and France. But it is something that I think if you're going to be using high-speed rail in London, especially Heathrow, tough area to get in and out of when it comes to transportation, maybe using a high-speed rail might be a way for you to get around a little differently. I believe that they're also going to be doing a high-speed 2 or HS2. As I get more information on that, I will make a video of that maybe in later 22 or 2023. So that's for the UK. For Germany, it's called the Intercity Express, or ICE for short, ICE. And it connects all the major cities in Germany. So that's something. It also extends into Austria and to Switzerland. So if you are looking to have a base trip in Germany, or if you are in Austria and Switzerland and you want to get around into Germany on your European travel, the ICE or Intercity Express is a great way to be able to do that, and might be more efficient in a time when you're looking at time savings than necessarily buying airline tickets to go from one city to the next. So that's another one. Italy. So Italy has the, I'm going to get it, probably not pronounce this right, but the Frecciarossa, or Frecciarossa, Frecciarossa, is one of the most common trains that's used when traveling throughout Italy. So they're operated by a company called Trenitalia, which is a company that we've used before. So we are somewhat familiar. We've used I'll call it the regular lines, as well as the high-speed line. And we found it to be very fast. It was efficient because it was on time. The process was excellent. Even through the pandemic, they had to check a few more documents, but we had all those. It flowed very quickly. We didn't notice any difference between taking it a few years ago versus taking it this past year, as well as this spring. So the Freccia Rossa line, and then also they have the Evo line, which is more of a green line. And that was, I believe they use rechargeable materials, and it's just greener, maybe less emissions. So it's a more environmentally conscious. But that line too is run. We have not had any experience with that, but that's also something that we would recommend looking at the timetables, and check out again the description box to find out if it's going to a destination that you're looking at. You may not need to have a car, and you may not need to book a train ticket, or a plane ticket. You'll just need to book the train ticket to get to your destination in Italy. Spain, they have something called the AVE, or AVE. It's almost like short for avenue, but the AVE line, that is their high-speed line. And that's something that it also connects into France and into Portugal. So if you're in Spain, depending on where your destinations and travel are, if you're looking to get outside of Spain, you might be able to get to a couple of destinations in those countries, in France or Portugal. But that is something, it's been around since 1992, so it's been around quite some time, and it's really a great way to get around, especially going from like Madrid to Sevilla, or Seville as you may pronounce it. Madrid is a major hub for airlines, so that may be a place. It's a lot easier to get to Madrid by airplane and then train to Sevilla than it is to actually fly into Sevilla. So that may be an option for you if you're looking to go to Spain and use the AVE line. Again, I'm going to have that in the description box. Now, with that said, there are going to be more lines that are going to be introduced in 2023, 2024, and 2025. And what I mean by that, not necessarily more lines, more tracks, and more, I guess, tracks are being laid to where in the future there may be more countries or more destinations within those countries I listed that are going to be available by high-speed train. And as that network grows, and as there continues to be, let's say, frustration in the airline industry, those of you coming, let's say, from the US, Canada, overseas, across the Atlantic, you'll still need to get an airline to get here. But once you're here, instead of maybe using an airline to get to your final destination, you may consider using a rail system. And now, high-speed rail, I would recommend it when it's affordable to you and you can do it. Regular rail system is great, but these high-speed trains get you there in a hurry. And what we found, in more cases than not, traveling from the same place, the same city that we would travel by plane, we get there by high-speed rail faster every time, because when you're considering security lines, the ticketing lines, other types of queues and lines along the way, this is just a better option. So I hope that you consider that when you're coming to Europe. You may not be thinking about that. You may be thinking, I'm just going to do train or planes all the way, or get a rental car and tool around, and that's a fantastic way too. But you may consider the high-speed trains, especially given the amount of frustration that people are having in the summer of 2022. Please give it a shot. Please look at those links in the description. Go check out some schedules and some pricing. You may find that it's actually a better option, and it's an easier way to travel around Europe. As always, thank you so much for watching the channel, and enjoy your travels.